Trip to Greece, Solangelo AU by Prittiestpivvo, Chapter 14. Will's Point of View. Okay, Will, let's do something about this before it's too late. I scratched the back of my neck, feeling heat rising through my body, even in the cool water. And what exactly does doing something entail? Annabeth's face split into a mischievous grin, once again looking at Percy, Jason, and Nico, the former two being chased through the water by the latter, trying not to get splashed, before setting her stormy eyes straight on my own. You're going to ask Nico out, and before you reject the idea, she held up a finger, so I shut my mouth, I'm going to help you come up with a plan. I mulled on the idea for a second. Yes, it was true. I don't know at all if I'm ready to ask this amazing boy out, but I also knew I wanted to. It helped that it was Annabeth helping. She could plan for just about everything. Alright, I say, admitting defeat. But when Annabeth's eyes lit up, I knew I had made the right decision. So, since this is kind of sudden, I think we should do it after the trip is over, just so we don't rush anything. Annabeth thought aloud. I nodded along. Once we get back to school, we could all hang out or something, go to the park, and then you could just ask Nico to talk and ask him out. I found. I think I'd rather do it properly, in private. Especially if we kiss, said my heart. Don't be stupid, said my brain. Annabeth grinned. You guys are perfect for each other. Nico's point of view. As I was hauled over Percy's shoulder, I got a quick glimpse of Annabeth and Will talking. I saw them both look at me. Will's cheeks flushed slightly. I didn't catch much else, since I was thrown underwater from Percy's shoulder. Once I emerged, I scowled at Percy, who was snickering into his hand. Almost all thoughts of Will left my mind once I saw Jason and Piper creeping up behind Percy. I tried, I promise I did, to keep a poker face. Percy caught the laughter, threatening to burst from me, turned and was tackled down into the water. Ah! Splash! I doubled over in laughter, wiping tears from my eyes as Percy disentangled himself from a strand of seaweed, grumbling to himself. As I began to calm down, Percy was seaweed-free, aside from his brain, and Jason and Piper were grinning at him. I felt a hand on my shoulder. My instincts told me to immediately shoot my fist backwards, which hit something hard. Ow! I spun around and was faced with Will, clutching his chin, but grinning nonetheless. Jesus, no one told me you could throw a punch, Nico. I quickly moved towards him, grasping his face gently in my hands, staring at his chin in worry. Shit. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I thought you were a random person. I'm sorry. Is your chin okay? Will interrupted my rambling apology. Nico, it's fine. It didn't hurt that bad. Just surprised me. He laughed. I breathed it off. Sorry, Will. He grinned and called. Okay, time to dig a hole. Who wants to be buried alive? Percy threw up his hands, then grabbed his girlfriend's and raised it against her will. We volunteer! Annabeth groaned, but smiled at her. I wonder if I would love like that. Hours later, the sun was beginning to set. We had dug up Percy and Annabeth from where we dug a gaping hole in the sand, sat them in it, then used the dug up sand to cover their bodies, effectively trapping them. We had sent Annabeth and Thalia to get 2 bags of chips for us to share while watching the sunset before grabbing some dinner and then heading to sleep. It had been a warm, beautiful day. I had only got a little sunburnt on my ears, which was a win in my books. Jason and Piper had decided to retire for the night, while the rest of us sat in a common room on the 3rd floor. Percy had his arm wrapped around Annabeth's shoulder, the blonde's head resting on his shoulder, both sitting on a velvet couch. I sat next to Will on an identical couch to theirs, on the other side of the rug. Raina and Thalia sitting in 2 armchairs placed facing out to the large window, giving us a view of the glittering night sky, illuminated by the moon and a few lights on the beach. My head was rested on the back of the couch, staring into the beautiful sky. While I focused mostly on the sight, in my peripherals I caught Annabeth giving Will a look and gesture to me. I felt the couch move as Will lowered his mouth down to my ear. He got close enough I could feel his breath on my ear and hair. It sent shivers up my spine, goosebumps forming across my arms. I rubbed my hands against my forearm when Will whispered, It kind of reminds me of you, you know? I scrunched my eyebrows. My head turned to face Will's. His cerulean eyes bored into mine in a way that set my heart pounding. We were closer than I had thought, both bodies and faces. In that moment, I forgot about Raina and Thalia, Percy and Annabeth. I only focused on the golden boy in front of me. What do you mean? Will tore his eyes from mine to look into the night sky. The night sky? It's dark, yes, and you can't always see much of it. But there's bright, beautiful parts to it. The stars only shine in the darkness. The moon only rises when the sun disappears. It reminds me of you. He repeated. I felt my face heating, knowing my ears were reddening from something other than a sunburn. He was looking into my eyes again. My lips parted. I so desperately wanted to kiss. But then a sound suddenly broke through my foggy brain. 4 sets of footsteps were padding away from the common area, sounding lighter and lighter as they trampled down the hallway towards elevators. Will and I were utterly alone. I returned my gaze back to Will's. I saw longing in his eyes. They weren't directed at the top half of my face, though. He was staring straight at my lips. He would occasionally flick them up to meet my eyes. He ran his tongue over his bottom lip, let out a breath, then began to speak. Nico, look, I haven't known you long at all, but there's just a part of me that can't seem to stay away. It's like a magnetic pull. I really haven't been sure what to do with it, but I think I'm fairly certain that it is. I'm fairly certain what it is I've been after. I would really, really appreciate if you would allow me to kiss you. I opened my mouth wider. Well, he interrupted and began to ramble, pulling away slightly. I'm sorry. I know I probably should have given you some time, and you probably don't want to kiss me, and now you think I'm weird. And oh God, sharing a bed is going to be weird because of me now. Shit, this is what the... He was interrupted when I grabbed his face, pulled him close, and did something reckless that maybe I shouldn't have, but it felt right. I kissed Will.